J. McCarthy, he'll run it with a lane. Touchdown, Wolverines. J.J. McCarthy. What a day. 3 touchdown passes. Now he runs one in.
How about quarterback J.J. McCarthy in his first game as the starter against Ohio State? 12 for 24, 263 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 27 yards rushing, a rushing touchdown. It doesn't get much better than that if you are quarterback J.J. McCarthy. Hi, and welcome into Big Ten Today. I'm Megan McEwen. The week has finally arrived. The Big Ten championship game takes place in Indianapolis this Saturday as Purdue, champions of the West, take on Michigan, champions of the East. Head coach Jim Harbaugh had his press conference. We're going to throw you out to there in just a moment, but this is going to be a look at how we got to where we are. Well, Michigan absolutely perfect on the season. Started out leading the country in points per game with nearly 60 at one point. Big Ten season, they were challenged. Then, of course, to cap it all off with a big win in the game. The second straight win over rival Ohio State, a 45-23 romping in the shoe on the road. Big time for the Michigan Wolverines. Let's head out to Ann Arbor and head coach Jim Harbaugh.
Humbly would say that. Yeah, definitely right up there. Is one of the greatest wins, and we've had a lot of good ones in 143 years.
Jim, to have this team back in the same position it was last year, not an easy task, but to be here and the motivation to seal the deal and move on. And share just kind of your emotions, thoughts to have this team in the same spot it was a year ago?
Right where we want to be. Playing for the championship, to be champions of the West, that's huge. That's big. It's sunk in. Coming back from the game, it's been just a great thrill of winning, great feeling of victory, and just expressing that to our players and our coaches, just how appreciative we are. I am really anybody that loves Michigan. I've got so many texts from people everywhere, trying to return them, but just for the amount of effort and focus and determination that our players and coaches put into this game. It's just incredible gratitude and appreciation for the job that they did, and now to do that again. Come back here on Monday and do everything in our power to have that feeling again after this game, which will be the biggest game in the world to us. The week before was the biggest game in the world. This past game was the biggest game in the world to us. Now this game is the biggest game in the world to us. And going about the preparation, the study of our opponent, the meetings, the practices, and getting ready for this game, so we can have the same feeling of winning and thrill of victory.
On the left, Aaron, could you speak of the job your both sides coordinators did on Saturday in terms of game plan and adjusting a game?
Yeah, it was incredible. The coordinators, Jesse Minter and Steve Klingscale on defense, offensively, Sharon Moore, Matt Weiss, Jay Harbaugh on special teams. I mean, the level of preparation and the level of detail, it was Super Bowl-like, and we understand this is like having a Super Bowl every year. When you're at Michigan, you get to play in a Super Bowl every single year, and it was treated as such by our coaches, especially the coordinators. I can't say enough good things. I mean, the amount of preparation and detail that went into this game, and ultimately the performance by our team. They were directly responsible.
How much adjustment was there on the offensive side of the ball in the week leading up, especially not knowing what Blake was going to be able to do?
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit. Something that Sharon had been planning, weekly, monthly. Same with our defensive staff and coaches and special teams coaches. I mean, there was, so I wouldn't call it as much adjustment as it was preparation.
On the right, Austin, Jim, you've been asked a lot this year about the way your team finishes games and plays in the second half. Is that something that is instilled or developed in the team, or is that just a trait that a team just kind of naturally has?
It has been incredible. I think that that's who they are. That's who our players are. They are never about being bitter. They get better, and it's incredible. The difference between those two words. It's one letter, the letter I, and that letter signifies making it about yourself, making it about just you, and our players. It's about the team. It's about really doing everything that they can for the team. They've been saying that they play as a team. They play as a unit. The other thing to mention too is the tremendous development that's taken place in our strength and conditioning program, and I would also call that the center of player development. To me, Ben Herbert, X factor in our entire football program. The level of conditioning, the level of strength, the lesson of mental toughness. That's been the center of it, and so I would have to give equal amount of credit and gratitude, to Ben Herbert, X factor in this program.
On the left, John.
Jim, you talked about the last couple of games about some key plays that were core plays that other guys like Isaiah with the fourth down catch, jump pass Saturday. How encouraging is it to see other guys getting those opportunities and also capitalizing on them?
It just warms the cockles of the heart in every way. I'm giving a game ball to every single player on our team that's a walk-on. Not here, for the scholarship, and here because they're really good in school, and they've gotten really good in football and have contributed so much to our team. There's probably nothing more heartwarming than that. When a guy steps up, like that, playing for the love of the game, not playing, for the what they're getting in return. Just everything is sacrifice, and I can't say enough about our guys like that. I mean, they're part of the room of heroes.
On the right, Bob.
Jim, you've talked a lot about the closeness and the selflessness of your team, and how and where and when did that develop? Because you brought in different coaches, that younger coaches that maybe connect. Where do you think that began to develop, and how has it been sustained?
It's been, in my opinion, it's been here, for a long, long time. I mean, throughout 50 years ago, that is the Michigan program, the team, Bob. I mean, I know nobody knows that better than you. It is now, and we expect that to go on into the future. But you know, it's definitely some remarkable players that, you know, they have also been raised that way, are that way, and will continue, you know, to be that way. I mean, so many of our guys are like that in every way. I mean, I could give many examples if you'd like. A ton of guys like that. I mean, Donovan Edwards, for example. I mean, he could have taken a knee in this game, you know. Instead, he wore a cast, and now he's a legend. J.J. McCarthy, you know, could have been a guy like, hey, I'm J.J. McCarthy. I'm a 5-star quarterback. I'm not here to hand the ball off, you know, and never. I mean, he'll do anything for the team. He'll block, he'll run down the field and block for a running back, you know, 50 yards down the field. You know, do anything for the team. Put his shoulder down and score a touchdown at the goal line. You know, now he's a legend. You know, so many guys. Cornelius Johnson could have been somebody that complained about how many targets he's getting, or, you know, the passing game, you know, should be front and center, et cetera, but doesn't, and, you know, continues to block and make the tough catch across the middle, diving catches, and then, you know, in this past game, you know, he really got us started in that game Saturday against Ohio State, and he kept us going. You know, so many guys. Mozzie Smith, another would come to my mind. I mean, has asthma, completely changed his body in the aforementioned weight room to become the football freak number one. I mean, there was a time where, I mean, it was hard for Mozzie to play 3 plays in a row, and he played 61 plays in this last game. He played his best game that he's ever played. Had 4 tackles, gave the most pass rush in the game, and captain, you know, can't say enough about him. Taylor Upshaw could have been bitter about you know, not getting as much play time as some of the other guys at the position. Didn't. Now he's a legend. A lot of examples, but I think that's who the team is. That's what Michigan has always been about and is, and also what their parents poured into them, you know, from a very young age. So I would call it all those things.
Isaiah?
Jim, with J.J. McCarthy and his demeanor, how much do you think that, considering he's like meditating and things like that before the game, how much do you think that helps him keep that type of focus, keep that type of cool, and, you know, you get into a situation like you were in on Saturday where you're down a little bit and he's able to help that with that?
Visualization, how much, how good is that? How powerful is that? I mean, it's something I remember Bo Schembechler talking so much about. So I think I know it to be a positive factor.
Michael?
Jim, there were some times in the third and fourth quarter where there was many 4 tight ends on the field. Can you kind of describe the development that you've seen from that group to be able to go 4, 5, and 6 deep with there, if they've been healthy, and sort of what they mean to this offense?
Yeah, they mean so much. I mean, just another group of completely unselfish team guys. You know, every single one of them. Luke Schoonmaker, you know, fantastic. He's going to be playing pro football next year and maybe for the next 10 or 12 years. Outstanding talent who has benefited greatly from, you know, his work ethic and development in the weight room and on the practice field. Joe Honingford, offensive tackle, offensive lineman when he came in here. and somebody's reshaped his body, and for the greatness of the team. Could keep going. Carter Seltzer, walked onto this program and has stayed. The sign says it. I mean, those who stay will be champions. It's even sewn into to the jerseys. And ingrained in their hearts. I truly believe that. And could go on. Colston Loveland. I would like to talk about him. I mean, another war daddy type of guy. And he catches his first touchdown pass in the game of his career, and literally, I watched him sprint 50 yards back from the end zone because he knew he was on kickoff. He knew he was on the kickoff team. He knew he was on kickoff coverage. Sprinting back, and Colston, it's good. We'll get somebody else in there for kickoff coverage. Okay. Then there was another play in the game where JJ Sest, we had verticals that we called. He scrambles out of the pocket. You may remember the play, and he throws it downfield. Colston was covered tight, double coverage, and more of a throwaway type of throw by JJ. Good decision. Colston's maybe 55, 60 yards downfield, and just turned, sprinted back because he knew he was on punt. And we didn't even have a chance to tell him to get somebody else in there, and we had to have him on the punt protection. But you talk about warming the cockles of the heart. Guys like that, what do they mean to the team? Everything.
On the left, Reiner.
How does the composition of the team kind of become reflective of the program's mindset? Essentially, a lot of your key contributors were lower-rated recruits, Vanderstill, Barrett, Schoonmaker. You guys used to get to sign the Stars event. Now you got guys wearing like blue-collar, shirts and everything. How much is that kind of re-emphasized maybe the switching recruiting strategy?
We've been doing the blue collar shirts from day one. I think it's Michigan. I think it's what Michigan is. What it's always been. That's the way we've always been. There's been no change. Guys like Mike Barrett, same as Colston. He played 75 plays in the game, had 11 tackles, covered number 8, gave up 4 catches and 12 yards. And never has once thought about not being out there on the punt team or doing one of his special teams duties. He is completely that kind of player. You mentioned a couple others. Who were they? The Stars. The Stars. The first person that jumps to mind with the Stars is Rod Moore, who is I remember Rod being a 3-star guy, only 17 when he got here to campus, and there's kind of a disrespect that some guys feel. It's not, and some guys will get bitter. He doesn't. He just wants to get as good at football as he possibly can, and now he's earned. Truly one of the best. He was all over the field in this past game. He had 3 tackles, 3 assists, a TFL, did a bunch of other good things. The disrespect of getting what do you call that? The headbutt. Thanks. Got the headbutt. Right there in the game. Pretty violent headbutt. All he did was just. Throw the flag. Those type of guys. It's really more. It's more about the right fit, and that's what it is. It has no correlation to the signing of the Stars or anything like that. Those guys that were signing with the Stars were great guys and great players, and we're looking for the guys who really like football who really want to get good at football. And no matter what their star rating is, that's fairly irrelevant to us. Mike Samerstill, also, he's also the war daddy coming out of this game, and an incredible game by him. Also all over the field, 6 tackles at the point of attack, 20 times out of the plays that he was in there, 2 PBUs, game-saving PBUs in the game. Easily, could have been another guy. I'm a great receiver. I'd really rather get more targets. I'd rather have more than take on the challenge of changing positions. But anything for the team, change positions. Also voted captain, and it's been phenomenal, and had a phenomenal game. So probably played his best game of the year, all over the field as well.
How do you suss out if they really like football in the recruiting process, and you feel like you've gotten even better at being able to identify that love of football?
Yeah, it's the person I talk to is their coach, and always have. That's always been the best indicator to me is talk to their coach. Tell me about this guy, and they'll tell you. Not always in the words exactly, but they could roll up in their chair and be, "This is the best guy I've ever coached in a generation. Kind of guy I'd want to marry my daughter." Yeah, you can tell. Or they kind of lean back in their chair and go, "Well, I think he'd be good in your program. Once he gets around your guys and your strength staff." He's telling you without telling you. At least if you're listening. So it's the thing I have paid the most attention to, and will continue to.
Time for about 2 more, starting right here.
First one's quick, I think. The comment about game balls for everyone, did you mean that literally or figuratively? You said you'd give a game ball to everyone on the team from the first set. The walk-ons, yeah, okay.
What I just said?
Yeah, well, no, you said it earlier about the walk-ons.
Yeah, I'm going to give a game ball to every walk-on that played in the game,
All right, and then,
just as a token of appreciation for how how challenging that is, how tough that is. We can talk about stars all you want, and maybe there's maybe a disrespect in some of that, but to be told coming out of high school that you're not good enough. You're not good enough to even be offered a scholarship, and for somebody to say, "Well, I'm not going to get better. I'm going to get better, and I'll show you." Yeah, I know what that feeling's like, and just have a tremendous appreciation for players that do that on our team or any team, but especially on our team.
and then regardless of how the Big Ten championship game goes, we'll probably have another biggest game in the world a few weeks after that. With regard to players who are banged up, how does that affect decisions for this Saturday, knowing that?
Yeah, here's another game ball I'm going to give is to our training staff. Phil Johnson, Steve Smith, Pierre Nesbitt, Jason Williams, they deserve a game ball. I've never seen the kind of effort put in as was put in this past week by the medical, the training staff in particular, and guys were in there like if they weren't in class, they were in that training room. Blake was in there, he must have been doing his classes virtually because he was in there the whole entire week. Every time I walked by, he was in there, and Mike Morris and all the guys. Just incredible effort by our training staff. I'm just so darn appreciative and just respectful. So much gratitude for the hours that they worked, the effort that was put in, just incredible.
All right, last question, because I know we got to get that teleconference for the Big Ten with the players. Angelique?
I wanted to ask about Ben Herbert earlier. Strength coach often spends more time than anybody with the players. What was it about him that you identified that you wanted him here? Why you wanted him?
Right from the beginning? Well, it's the conversation I had, the level of detail, the expertise that he had. I just, I certainly didn't know how great he was until being on the job for a month, 6 months, a year. And I think you remember back when we used to give out an award for staff member of the most valuable staff member of the year. He won it that first year that he was here. To me, it was just a combination of I'd never seen somebody that was old school strength coach and cutting edge scientific strength coach. You usually get one or the other, but the absolute perfect blend of perfect melding of old school strength coach and cutting edge in every way, detailed strength coach. And the first time I met him, I talked to him on the phone, and was really impressed, and had it down to maybe 3 guys that brought in for an interview. He was the first. I remember in the hallway outside of my office, my first handshake with Ben Herbert. And it's unforgettable if anybody's ever had a first handshake with Ben Herbert. But, he shakes your hand, he kind of leans in, and it's like he's looking, right through your entire soul. And I got to the point where I cannot look at you anymore. I must avert my gaze. I knew that was the guy right there. Now the second time, so after the interview, I hired him the next day. I don't think I did any more interviews after that, but the next day when I greeted him in the morning, it was on. It was a contest of there's no possible way I am averting your gaze. And he stuck right in there too, but I think I won the second time around. Just never had a better hire than Ben Herbert and what he's meant to this program.
And you really did try to get some management for it?
I did, yeah. Dave can tell you. And really, and also, like I said, there was a ton of candidates. Steve Clinkscale would be a tremendous candidate. Sharon Moore, the possibility of winning the Moore Award, for the Moore Award for a second year in a row. And Jesse Minter, Jay Harbaugh, I've always, tried not to, go overboard or gush about the job he does, but it's incredible. And athletic directors calling, hey, is Sharon Moore ready to be a head coach? Beyond ready to be a head coach, Sharon Moore. And we're really super proud that Jesse's now a finalist, right? He's one of the top 5 for the Broyles Award, so that's super cool.
Well, dental too, but we're good.
All good?
We're good. Thank you.
And there you have Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh for the Big Ten championship, the second straight year. The Wolverines will represent the Big Ten East in the title game in Indianapolis Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Fox. A situation we're monitoring. Quarterback Cade McNamara, the man who led Michigan last year to the Big Ten title game, has entered the transfer portal, threw for more than 3,100 yards in his career at Michigan, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Again, Cade McNamara led Michigan to its first ever college football playoff a season ago. Make sure you stay with us all day. We will be having the introductory press conferences for Matt Rule and for Luke Fickell as well as they head to Nebraska and Wisconsin.